It has now been 6 days since Almost Park mom Suzanne Simpson was last seen. Tonight, we have new pictures of Suzanne to share with you in hopes that someone remembers seeing her. The night team Zaria Oates has been in contact with DPS all day, who updated her about the search efforts this weekend.
He still has not cooperated. We would love for him to give us some information because we're searching for her. The children have reached out and we're cooperating with them to try to get as much help as we can, obviously.
Suzanne Simpson didn't just disappear. Someone out there knows what exactly happened to her. A woman with no enemies, a sudden vanishing act, and a trail that takes you to a dead end. Every case has a missing puzzle piece, and today we are uncovering the secrets behind one of the most mysterious missing persons cases in recent years. On October 6th, 2024, Suzanne, alongside her husband Brad Simpson and 5-year-old daughter, attended a party at the Argyle Club, a private club in Alamo Heights. While being there, Suzanne and her husband got into a verbal fight for unknown reasons.
Since October 6th, that's where this all begins. That's the last night that she was seen.
At approximately 8:30 p.m., she and her daughter left the club, heading to H-E-B grocery store between 8:40 p.m. and 8:51 p.m. Shortly after, both of them returned to their residence. That night, Suzanne called one of her relatives and told them she was visiting. During the same time, she also phoned her mother, telling her that Brad had hit her, causing injuries on her arms, back, and neck. Soon after, she made a stop at her family friend's house at 9:25 p.m. Half an hour passed, and she and Brad found themselves in a physical altercation just outside their own house. Both of them went into the house, the same house where Suzanne disappeared, never to be seen again. When her friends couldn't reach Suzanne through her phone and couldn't find her elsewhere, they had one option left: police report. On the evening of October 7th, 2024, Suzanne's friend reported her missing. Her disappearance caused chaos around the neighborhood and her family. Her loved ones, along with the police officers, began searching for her everywhere, but there was no clue about her whereabouts. As the hours went by, tension and unease grew stronger. What had begun as a missing persons report was starting to feel like something far more unsettling. Many theories came around. Could she be lured into a trap by a stranger? Or was the truth more personal, hidden under the surface of what felt like a sparkling, perfect life? No one had answers. In due course, police reached out to her husband, Brad, asking him about his wife's whereabouts, but he told them that he himself had no idea where she was. He allegedly said that he last saw her on October 6, 2024, at 11 p.m. It wasn't long before the answers began unfolding. The first eyewitness came around and uncovered the truth behind Suzanne's disappearance. Her neighbor told the police that on October 6th, he heard loud arguments right outside his window. When he looked outside, he found the couple in a serious dispute that night, with raised concerns about her safety. According to him, Suzanne was trying to distance herself from Brad, but he was forcibly dragging her down.
The pair were seen fighting at that party and returned to their Almost Park home later that night. An affidavit shows a neighbor of the couple saw and heard the Simpsons get into a fight sometime between 10 and 11. The same neighbor says they saw Suzanne and Brad walk away from their home. Moments later, screams heard, and Brad Simpson came back to the home, got in his truck, and left. That is the last time Suzanne Simpson was seen.
He said it seemed like Brad Simpson was clearly attempting to keep Miss Simpson from running away. Right after that, the neighbor saw both of them going westbound. The neighbor then stepped out of his house and checked on Suzanne. Not long after, he heard 2 to 3 screams from the east side of his house. Exactly an hour later, the neighbor witnessed Brad leaving his property in his truck and returning to his residence after 1 to 2 hours. On October 7th, 2024, Suzanne's child's school called Brad and told him that his child was still at the school. It was later known that she was usually the one who picked up the children from school. The next day, on October 8th, the police interviewed the child's school staff. Their daughter had shared the dire situation at the house and her parents' failing relationship with the school staff. She also mentioned the concerning issues that took place on October 6th between her parents. The very next day, At around 12:30 a.m., Brad Simpson's arrest warrant was issued on the charges of assault, family violence, and unlawful restraint. The officers from the Department of Public Safety and Kendall County Sheriff's Office arrested him at 1:30 a.m. at mile marker 542 East on Interstate 10. He was booked in Kendall County Jail, and his bond was set at $1 million a charge. The same day, Brad was transferred to Behar County Jail from Kendall County.
3 days later, Brad Simpson is arrested and charged with assault, family violence, and unlawful restraint in Kendall County.
Now the police had to find Suzanne by any means. They began massive searches for her, starting from her home and surrounding areas. However, they never disclosed if they came across any evidence.
In the same time frame, police had searched the Simpson home and the woods near their house in Olmos Park. Police say Simpson eventually became uncooperative in the investigation, which prompted the warrant for his arrest.
On October 11th, 2024, near Highway 87, a mile away from where Brad was taken into custody.
But you remember that search at the landfill on the southeast part of the county?
Correct.
That search warrant was also sealed. So it was very hard to get any kind of information. We weren't able to get a search warrant return, which tells you what they found, why they got a warrant for that location, and then what that warrant turned up. So that is something that was sealed. We still don't have the return on that warrant, and the indication I'm given is on this murder warrant that has also been sealed for 30 days.
They also filtered many other key locations, including a landfill in southeast Behar County. Investigators had pointed out some locations that they believed had clues about what might have happened to her. Evidence and witnesses, on the other hand, also hinted at some sites. The search was carried out with the help of many law enforcement agencies, including the Texas Department of Public Safety and the San Antonio Police Department. The chief of police, Fidel Villegas, shared his statement when the search was ongoing around the landfill. Today, the OPPD Police Department continued investigating the case of Suzanne Clark Simpson. The Simpson family has been very helpful and supportive, even when they are the ones in need of support and understanding at this time. The OPPD met with family members to discuss the stage of the investigation. We are in a search stage. The search will be at a SE side landfill. We feel confident there's a good chance of recovering Suzanne at that location. Evidence, statements, and solid police investigation has led us there. This would not be possible without the help of many other LE agencies and some non-LE agencies. However, the Texas Rangers and the DPS are at the forefront of this investigation, and the OPPD is working side by side with them. We ask that you pray, wish well for the family in the coming days. We feel the community support, and most of all, the family's support, and we will do our very best to help the family and our incredible community. The police department still hadn't made anything public about whether they had found any evidence connecting to Suzanne's disappearance. However, they kept working on this mysterious case, trying to piece together everything. They interviewed witnesses, looked through the surveillance footage, and kept up with every possible lead. The case took a shocking turn when police looked through the surveillance footage and uncovered Brad's suspicious behavior. The surveillance footage of October 7th showed Brad leaving the H-E-B grocery store in his truck with a large ice chest in the morning. Another video showed him buying food from the drive-thru in Kendall County, Texas. The footage clearly showed that his truck bed had a lot of stuff, including 3 white trash bags, a heavy-duty trash can, an ice chest, and a large bulky item wrapped and secured in a blue tarp with a firewood rack above it. After eating out at a drive-thru, Brad was seen making multiple unusual purchases with cash at a nearby Home Depot. The authorities found out about it through surveillance footage, cell phone data, and Home Depot sales receipts.
Details that when investigators talked to him, he showed little emotion. It says he seemed unconcerned that his wife was missing. But you mentioned the surveillance video, and it's what that video shows at a Whataburger drive-thru that seems to be a big piece of evidence in this case.
Yeah, and there's this question about supplies that he bought. He had a blue tarp that appeared to have some sort of object underneath the tarp, and then this firewood rack on top of the tarp to keep the object in place that was in his truck for a number of hours. He travels from San Antonio up through Kendall County into Bandera County and then comes back. And just based on the timeline that we've been able to put together, 11:15 a.m. the blue tarp is still in the back of his truck. 1:41 p.m. they have additional surveillance footage of him coming back into Boerne from Bandera County, and the blue tarp is no longer there.
Before buying all of the supplies, Brad reportedly talked to an unknown man in the parking lot and asked for directions to the nearest dump in Bourne. Later that morning, Brad's truck was seen at a gas station. This time, his truck didn't have white trash bags, but all the remaining items. Soon after Brad picked up his daughter up from school on October 7th, he was again spotted on a surveillance camera at a car wash in San Antonio. He seemed to be washing and cleaning the rear left passenger side and the driver's front side of his truck. The next day, on October 8th, 2024, he reached out to his longtime friend and business partner, James Val Cotter, through text. "If you're in Bandera, can you haul to meet me at your house? I don't have much time." Later, Cotter texted Brad, saying, "Get over here, I won't tell anyone," and "You're my brother." Cotter was found to be involved in Suzanne's disappearance. He was arrested on October 21st, 2024, on the charges of tampering with evidence with the intent to impair an investigation and possession of prohibited items in Suzanne's disappearance. However, he was released after he settled the bond.
And first at 5, a new development in the Suzanne Simpson case. James Val Cotter, the longtime business partner of Suzanne's husband, Brad Simpson, has been indicted in the case of the missing Olmos Park woman.
According to Bexar County jail records, Cotter was indicted by a grand jury on charges of tampering with evidence with the intent to impair an investigation and possession of prohibited weapons.
On October 9th, 2024, police got the search warrants for Brad's second property in Bandera County. Upon searching, authorities found concerning items at the scene, including electronics. They also searched his truck and found stains that tested positive for blood. It was later revealed that it was Brad's. The case took a turn for the worse when police found something that confirmed Brad's part in Suzanne's disappearance. In December 2024, Bexar County Criminal District Attorney Joe Gonzalez said in a press release that Brad had hidden a reciprocating saw 2 days after his wife's disappearance. The authorities let Suzanne's family know that her DNA was found on the saw.
Coded language during the landfill search that they were trying to recover a body. They had not come out and said that she was murdered or that her life was over. Now, unfortunately, with this charge today being murder, that means that in the eyes of law enforcement, Suzanne Simpson has passed away.
Yeah, which is obviously not the outcome that certainly, we saw her oldest daughter posting yesterday about she just wants her mom to come home. Obviously, that is the grim part of this. You also have to wonder with so many people that knew this family in the Olmos Park area. They're very prominent in the Olmos Park area.
After looking at her cell phone records, financial records, and speaking with her family, friends, and co-workers, the authorities said that it is highly unlikely that she is alive.
Arrest warrant detailing the evidence that police believe they have to charge Suzanne's husband, Brad Simpson, with murder. It filled in a lot of gaps, a lot of questions that we have had about this case, because although he has been in jail for weeks, it wasn't until that murder charge came last week that he was actually tied to, investigators believe, his wife's disappearance.
Thereafter, Brad was additionally charged with the murder of his wife and tampering with the evidence on November 7th, 2024.
Who's involving the disappearance of Suzanne Clark Simpson. Her husband charged just moments ago in her murder. Brad Simpson taken away in a motorcade at some point this afternoon. KSAT reporter Dylan Collier actually saw him being taken away by DPS officials for questioning.
Texas criminal defense attorney Sam Bassett told Fox News Digital, "It seems like the circumstantial evidence is fairly strong from what I've seen. The combination of a witness hearing a lady scream, combined with this evidence of his vehicle being moved around. There's some videotapes, some GPS data. I think it's a strong prosecution circumstantial case at this point." Brad appeared in court on December 5th, 2024, for the first time after his arrest in October. During this hearing, he stood in front of Judge Joel Perez in orange jail attire. This session was brief and focused more on case updates instead of showing evidence. The judge set another date to discuss legal motions and evidence. After his first appearance, the case went on with delays and more evidence being collected. He came to court for the second time on December 9, 2024, which was a pretrial hearing related to the murder charges. Finally, on February 12, 2025, Brad came to court to attend the hearing in his murder case, which focused on the procedural hearing for both the prosecution and defense to exchange the evidence. The prosecutors shared the evidence, including DNA results and surveillance footage, with the judge linking them to Suzanne's disappearance. Brad's lawyers, on the other hand, argued against the use of DNA evidence. The court also debated whether Brad could visit his children. The children were willing to speak with their father, but only under certain conditions. Brad's next hearing was set for March 12, 2025, but it was postponed and pushed to another date, March 19th, letting his lawyers go through the evidence more deeply. At the same time, Suzanne's family and friends are tirelessly working to bring the person responsible to justice. They have been doing everything they can to keep Suzanne's case in the public eye. Although her body couldn't be recovered even after a massive search, the evidence collected by police is the only way to keep the case going forward. The next hearings will play a key role in moving Brad's trial to progress and find justice for Suzanne.